Hello and welcome to Purple Knight Games. So the much anticipated balanced data slate is out for Warhammer 40,000 and I'm just going to go through that today, just highlight what's been done, what changes are made. I mean, we were expecting quite a few changes because there's been a lot of codex out recently and some of them, well, Harlequins, we're always going to get some changes made to them. So we're going to go through that now, starting with the universal match play rules. So I've got the article here in front of me. I've been going through that, and there's been a few changes to the match play rules. One of the new rules is armour of contempt. So each time attack is allocated to an Adeptus Astartes, Sanctus Astartes, Heretic Astartes, and Adapter Sororitas. So this is a battle. I'm not sure you say that one. One of the models. The attack has its armour penetration characteristic worsened by 1. But this rule does not apply to the following: models that are equipped with storm shields, relic shields, or combat shields, or relic that places one of those. Models with either the Secutant shields or force shielding abilities, such as Celestian Sacrescent and Nemesis Dread Knight units. And models that are affected by any other rule that worsens or reduces armour penetration characteristics of an attack. Aircraft. Now there has already been some changes to the aircraft, and this is sort of, I think, more consolidating that and giving those limits. So when mustering your army for a match play game, it cannot include more than 1 aircraft model if you're playing a combat patrol or incursion size game. You can't have more than 2 aircraft models if you're playing a strike force size game, or more than 3 aircraft models if you're having an onslaught sized game. Not sure that really changes much. Next is changes how indirect fire weapons work. Well, they work very much the same way. However, if you use indirect fire weapons, your ballistic skill characteristic is worsened by 1, and the enemy models add 1 to their armour saving throws. So indirect fire weapons are therefore not as accurate and not as effective at taking out enemies. But there is one exception to this. Astra Militarum indirect fire weapons are not affected by this rule. They do not have their ballistic skill worsened and they do not improve armour of the enemy. Just as well, since it's mainly Astra Militarum that use indirect fire weapons, most armies have an option of 1 or 2, but it would really have hurt the Astra Militarum. So yeah, I think on fairness, them being an exception, I think it's okay. I don't think this is a game changer. The biggest change is to the bodyguard ability. And I've been trying to get my head around this. I'm not sure how much it changes it. It does a bit, and I think it worsens the bodyguard ability. It doesn't help characters. Like now, it means they can be targeted by snipers that much easier. But you know, please put a comment in the comments below if you are saying this is, if you think this is a bigger game changer than I do. It more seems like they're rewording it to fit into the rules better and making it slightly worse, but I don't think it's that bad really. So the change that there is to the bodyguard ability is any models or units cannot target the character unit with range weapons or range attacks. That was how it used to be worded. That has changed now to that character unit can use the lookout sir rule if this unit contains fewer than 3 models. So it's a unit you can use lookout sir for a bit easier. I don't really think this really helps too much. If a unit's bodyguard ability only affects a specific type of character unit, the updated version of that unit's bodyguard ability still only applies to that type of character unit. There is some other slight differences as well. The rule goes through the different units it affects in the actual article, and it does affect the rule for stratagems, such as irreplaceable guardians, Sea Council, Shield of Honour. It does affect those as well. Now there is some caveats to this. The rule only affects the first bullet point of the Locus bodyguard ability. Hive Tyrants within range of the Guardian Organism ability gain the benefits of Lookout Sir, even though their character unit has wounds greater than 9. They're the only sort of caveats onto this new rule. Now, some of the factions on this appear to have been covered before. There's some of the Adeptus Mechanicus things are in the FAQs, and some of the Drukhari things have been repeated from previous Dataslates. But I'm going to go through what they've got on here anyway. The armies I play haven't really been touched. I play Tyranids, Genestealer Cult and Astra Militarum. Astra Militarum have been touched, the other two haven't been. A little bit sad. I had heard rumours that Genestealer Cult were going to have the Arborant units made core, which would have been great for some of the cult, but that hasn't happened. It doesn't make a huge change, it would just be nice for that. So we're going to start with Adeptus Custodes. I can't pronounce it. Sisters of Battle. They change the first bullet point in the Gain Miracle Dice section of the Acts of Faith ability to read, at the start of each turn you gain 1 Miracle Dice. Not sure what changes that makes me. And also change the second bullet point of the Stoic Endurance, Order of the Valorous Heart, conviction to read, each time an attack is made against a unit with this conviction, the attack wound roll cannot be re-rolled. There are quite a few changes to Astra Militarum. So first of all is add the following detachment abilities of an Astra Militarum detachment. Hammer of the Emperor. If every regiment unit in your army is drawn from the same regiment, then each time a regiment model from your army makes a ranged attack on an unmodified roll of a 6 automatically wounds the target. Note that units listed as advisors and auxiliary do not prevent other Astra Militarum units from your army from gaining this rule, but advisors and auxiliary units never benefit from this rule. Well, this seems very strong, so that means Regiment Imperial Guard firing las guns are going to automatically wound on rolls of a 6. Now this seems very strong for Astra Militarum, and they need it, they need buffs. This appears to be a look into how they're changing Astra Militarum in the new Codex. Change to save to the Astra Militarum Leon Russ is now 2+, we already knew that was coming. When using the tank order ability of Regiment Tank Commander models, you can select one friendly vehicle unit within 6 inches of that tank commander model instead of selecting a Lehman Russ unit. So that excludes Titanic units though, so they can select more units, not just Lehman Russ units. Each time a regiment unit with the voice of the command ability issues one of the following orders to an infantry unit, the same order can be issued to one or more other friendly regiment infantry units, excluding officer units, within 6 inches of the unit that ordered the original issue, to take aim, first rank fire, second rank fire, bring it down, forward for the Emperor, get back in the fight and fix bayonets. Again, digesting that, I'm not quite sure what changes that makes, but it seems to help get more orders out there for Astra Militarum. They've also changed the points cost for infantry squads. So now the squad size stays the same as 10 models in a unit, but the unit's cost has gone up by 5 points, from 55 points to 60 points. However, war gear options are all reduced to 0 points. So that seems interesting. So you could actually get more points for your infantry squad unit here. But they have changed that horrible thing of it being 5.5 points per model, now it's 6 points per model. But not paying for the war gear, it's likely overall with units, especially if you beef them up a bit, they're going to be cheaper overall. Adeptus Custodians, they change the third bullet point of the detachment ability of the Custodian, Adeptus Custodians detachment to read. Troop units in the Adeptus Custodian detachments gain the objective secure ability. See the Warhammer 40,000 code. I'm not sure why that's changed. I'm not sure what change that means. Essentially, I think it's only troops are objective secure. I don't know if I don't play as Custodians. I've never played against Custodians, so I don't know if it was the case that more than just their troops were objective secure. Add the following to the esteemed amalgam Emperor's Auspice and martial discretion stratagems, you can only use this stratagem once. So obviously stop spamming there. Again, no idea what these actually do. Change the Adeptus Custodian keyword in all instances on the Arcane, Genetic, Alchemy and Emperor's Auspice stratagems to read Adeptus Custodian Infantry. This looks like you can stop using those stratagems on vehicles and tanks now. It's only for the infantry. So the Adeptus Mechanicus, these have probably all been covered in the FAQs. I'm just going to read the article down straight away. Take it what you can. I don't think there's much changes here, or just skip ahead to the next part where we're covering the Space Marines. So first of all, Adeptus Mechanicus, remove the core keyword from the keyword section for the following data sheets: Iron Strider Ballistari and Snydonian Dragoons. Change the first bullet point of the Solar Blessing dogma to read: each time an attack with a damage characteristic of 1 is allocated to a model with this dogma, unless that model is receiving the benefit of light cover, add 1 to any armor saving throw made against that attack. Add the following to the Cladstein Infiltration stratagem. You can only use this stratagem twice. Interesting, you can use it twice, not just once. Add the following to the I can't read. Add the following to the Acquisition at any cost stratagem. You can only use this stratagem once. Change last sentence of the Galvanic Volley Fire stratagem to read: until the end of the phase, galvanic rifle models in the unit are equipped with have a type of characteristic of heavy 3. That's worded really badly. Essentially, it sounds like they have heavy 3 if you use that stratagem. Either I'm reading it wrong, or it's not really worded very well. And finally, change the CP cost of the enriched round stratagem to 1 CP / 2 CP. Add the following to the end of this stratagem: if units contain 11 or more models, the stratagem costs 2 CP, otherwise it costs 1 CP. In addition, change the end of the last sentence of this stratagem to read: and a modified successful hit roll of 5+ automatically wounds the target. Slight change for Space Marines. Change the second bullet point of the Forged in Battle Salamanders chapter tactic to read: each time an attack is made against a unit with this tactic, the attack wound roll cannot be re-rolled. Another short one for Chaos Space Marines. Change the Death to the False Emperor ability to read: each time a model with this ability makes a melee attack, a hit roll of 6+ scores 1 additional hit. This change, I think it was before, you could only do it against Imperium based armies. Now you can do it against any faction. But I think that was already predicted, and that was already on the way anyway, similar to the Imperial Guard Lehman Russ going to 2+ save. They're just putting it on one data slate. Next, Death Guard. Add the following bullet point to the attachment abilities of Death Guard attachments: Blight Lord Terminators and Death Shroud Terminator units in Death Guard attachments gain the Objective Secure ability. Okay, Terminator's Objective Secure. Sounds nasty. Don't know if it's predicted or not. Seems nice enough for Death Guard though. Next is Drukhari. Speaking to a Drukhari player earlier on, they said that a lot of this has already been done. I have not played Drukhari for a long time, and I don't play Drukhari, so I'm having to take their word for it. I'm going to go for the section anyway. So remove the core keyword from keyword sections of the following datasheets: Talos and Kronos. So they're no longer core. Change the second bullet point of the Agile Hunter's obsession to read: if a unit with this obsession with the Combat Drugs ability has the High Flexibility, page 89, add 3 to movement to that unit's move characteristic instead of 2. That seems like quite a mouthful. Seems a change in adding an extra inch to the movement characteristic. Change the first sentence of the Dark Techromancer's obsession to read: each time a unit with this obsession is selected to shoot, you can choose to enhance any or all of the range weapon models in this unit are equipped with. Liquefy guns and twin liquefy guns can never be enhanced. Again, I don't know what change that means. were the fire guns included before? I don't know. Change the Artists of Flesh obsession to read, each time an attack is allocated to a model with this obsession, excluding vehicles, unless that attack has a strength characteristic of 8 or more, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack to a minimum of 1. A small change to Necrons, add the core keyword to the keyword section of the following data sheets. Oh my word, I've got to read these. Canopect Anchithrites, Canopect Ruminators, Canopect Wraiths, Flayed Ones, Lockhurst Destroyers, Lockhurst Heavy Destroyers, Ophidian Destroyers, Scorptheth Destroyers, and Triactorians. I've never played Necrons. I was struggling to read those, but yeah, those are now core. One change for the Orcs, again I think this is already covered in FAQs. When mustering an Orc army, it cannot include more than one of each type of the following units: Boomdacker Snazwagons, Custom Booster Blasters, Megatruck Scrapjets, Rocket Truck Squid Buggies, and Shock Jump Dragstars. The Orcs, I don't think it matters if I've read them incorrectly. They won't matter. They won't care. This is the one everyone expecting. Changes to Harlequins. Since they are the meta at the moment, there's not a lot of changes, so I don't know how much this is going to actually impact the meta. We'll find. I don't know if this is going to really hurt them. There is some points increase, but I'll go through the section, we'll see. Change the Mirror Architect Pivotal role to read, in your command phase, select one friendly Seedith core unit within 9 inches of this model until the start of your next command phase. Each time an enemy unit is selected to shoot, when measuring the range of any model in that Seedith unit, it is considered to be an additional 6 inches away when shooting. I'm not sure what changes that made. I think it was something to do you couldn't shoot with them unless they were 12 inches away or you got minuses. That could still be in there. I'm not sure what the changes are there. Change the Favour of Kagorak Warlord trait to read, once per turn, when you make a melee hit roll, a melee wound roll, or a saving throw for their Warlord, after making that roll, you can treat the result as an unmodified roll of a 6 instead. That seems quite powerful. I don't know what it was before, but that seems pretty good. The points change there has been. The Starweaver units, unit size 1 model, unit cost 95 points. And Void Weavers, unit size 1 to 3 models, unit cost 130 points. Now again, I think these have gone up by about 20 to 40 points per model. So they've been spammed before, so I think they've just been increased to try and lower the amount they're being used. And finally, another one of the new codexes, auempire. Change the second bullet point of the Montclair ability to read, each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible enemy unit within the range shown in the table below, reroll a wound roll of a 1. Next thing is change the bullet point of the devastating Counter-Strike Farsight Enclaves tenant to read, each time a model with this tenant makes a ranged attack that targets a unit within 9 inches, the target is treated as having a Marklight token. That's on page 93 of the Tau Codex. Remove the core keyword from the keyword section of the Broadsight Battlesuit datasheet. This one was rumoured quite heavily, so yeah, broadsides, they're no longer core. Add the following to the repulsor impact field and photon grenade stratagems. The charge roll modifier incurred via this stratagem is not cumulative with any other negative modifier to unit's charge roll. This sounds like it's stopping you from using the stratagem and the impact field to doubly reduce charge rolls. Now it's only just going to be reduced by one or the other, and you can't use both at the looks of this. Obviously Tau players were using this quite heavily to try to stop being charged, so yeah, that seems to have been taken out. So that's a look over of the new data slate. To be fair, it was quite minor. I wasn't expecting the bodyguard rule change. They've obviously boosted the Imperium a bit, obviously ahead of that new Space Marine Codex that's coming out later this year, and because they were the first codex out, all the new Xenos codexes that have been coming recently in 2022, it's just to give them a little bit of a buff and a rise. I have no issue with that really. They're an old codex now. Okay, Space Marines had 2 years of meta where they were just blowing everyone away. Being a cult player, I was quite used to getting destroyed by Space Marines, but I don't see any issue with that. The changes to Drukhari, apparently they were already done before, seem very minor, and to me the changes to Harlequins aren't exactly devastating. I expect them still to be top of the meta. Tau, it seems that they're just quite sensible changes to stop some spamming, and to, again, just more of the changes throughout the whole Dataslate seem more to either bring things more in line with how the rules are looking, and to clean things up. It doesn't even any wholesale changes. There's been little nerfs to Harlequins and to some Drukhari and to Tau a little bit, but I don't think it's anything that's really game changing. I think the metas will be very similar. Anyway, that's a look at the Dataslate. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed listening to this, and obviously if you want to debate any of this or want to inform me if I've got anything wrong, yep, the comments are there. Please leave a comment. I do tend to look at them every other day, so I will get back to you. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Keep on gaming, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.